Hello, aspirants. How are you all doing today? I would just like to remind you that you can follow our social media pages just by scanning the QR codes mentioned on the PPT. How are you feeling about your preparations so far? And how are you feeling about Nexus? Are you liking Nexus? What are your reviews about the sessions? Please let us know in the chat box.
Well, I would like to remind all of you people, we have Snapitude. It's still live on Unstop platform. All you have to do is register on Unstop and you get a free mock conducted by SIBM Pune. Do not forget to register for it. It is a great opportunity to give you a first-hand experience of Snap.
Also, not to forget to mention, to add into Rohan's point, we have exciting prizes for the winners, for the top 10 winners for Snapitude. So please do register for the exam. And also to remind you all about the mock Mondays that are conducted on our Instagram channel. We request you to follow that.
So aspirants, we will just wait a couple of minutes till enough people join in until we can begin the session.
We will be having a question answer round at the end of the session. So we request you to have and ask as many questions as you can. All your doubts and queries will be solved. And if that is not solved now, or if you're not comfortable sharing your queries today, you can always connect with us through our LinkedIn profiles, through the social media platforms that we have. Okay, aspirants, since many aspirants have joined in, I think let's begin with today's session. So I welcome you for today's session. We have reached the end of this saga. It's a bittersweet moment for us since this was our very first edition of Nexus, and we have received so many positive reviews so far. So thank you for this, for following our Nexus event so judiciously and sticking with us diligently. Now that you have a fair idea of the different specializations, you have also mastered the art of taste taking and have gained insights about it. Today, the trilogy ends with a bang with our last session, Snapshot, Build Your Profile. So we have conducted a lot of sessions so far, and trust me when I say this, that we have got a particular question asked a lot of times. That is, this is so and so is my profile. Will I get into a premier B school like SIBM Pune with this specific profile? Today, we are here to answer such questions in as detailed manner as possible and will help you not just flaunt your amazing profile, but also enhance it further to make your career a beautiful one. We hope you enjoy this session and make it act as interactive as possible, as I mentioned earlier too. Please keep putting your comments and queries in the chat box. As mentioned earlier, we'll be having a dedicated Q&A at the end of the session. For one last time, in Nexus, let me reintroduce my team, the Aspirant Relations team of SIBM Pune. So my name is right there on the slide. I am Gayatri Patil. I am from Alibag. I have completed my mechanical engineering from Sardar Patel College of Engineering, which is at Mumbai. I am a fresher. Talking about my interests, I like to dance and I've participated in various competitions in schools and in colleges. I'm also a district level chess player And recently, I've developed an interest in cooking also. So now let me hand over the stage to Arushi to introduce herself. Arushi, please take over.
Hello, aspirants. I am Arushi Sharma. I'm from Ghaziabad. I did my bachelor's in architecture from School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, post which I worked for a year at a firm based out of New Delhi. Then I took a study gap of 6 months while freelancing. I love to read, travel, and paint in my free time. Over to Sakshi now to introduce herself.
Thank you, Arushi. Hi, folks. I'm Sakshi Agavne, hailing from Mumbai. I graduated with a BA in English Literature in 2021 and subsequently worked for 2 years as a consultant in a recruitment firm based in Mumbai. During my free time, I enjoy reading, dancing, and traveling. Over to you, Roman.
Hello, aspirants. I am Rohan Joshi and I'm from Mumbai. I did my Bachelor's of Commerce from HR College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. I am a fresher and I've done a few internships, one being at Ernst & Young, then moved on to Kotak Securities and I worked at a startup as well. I also love writing poetry and doing stand-ups in my free time. Let me welcome back Gayatri to begin the session.
Thank you, Rohan. All of us have shared our LinkedIn in the profiles and social media handles in the description box. So please feel free to reach out to us for any help or any sort of questions or queries that you have. Now, without further ado, let me begin with today's topic. Snapshot, build your profile. Now, what is Snapshot? Do you know its meaning? Okay, let's take this as an opportunity to improve your vocabulary as well. So let me know in the chat box, what do you understand by the word snapshot? Aspirants, please put your answers in the chat box. Okay, so I guess all the aspirants are busy in Googling the word snapshot. So yes, snapshot has many meaning, a photo, a piece of information, and so on. Basically, it's something that captures information at a point in time. That's what your profile is, right? It represents what you have achieved, who you are, everything about your career, everything about you at that particular point in time in your life. That's also a beauty of snapshot. You can always keep adding more information and enhance your profile. It's not static. So for all of you who have this question, is my profile sufficient? Is it possible to get into a top premier B school like SIBM Pune? Yes. Your past as such doesn't define your future. So it's possible, it's very much possible, believe me, to enhance your profile and make it the best possible version that it can be. That's what this session is all about, how to build an MBA ready profile. Now, let me ask all of you one more interesting question. How many of you are freshers or a fresher who has taken a gap year to prepare solely for MBA entrance? Or how many of you are working professionals? Aspirants, please, we need your answer on this question. So please feel free to put your answer in the chat box. Okay, so Neon King says he's a fresher. Hussein says he's a fresher. Any more answers? Okay, freshers. Okay, WorkX. Okay. So usually while preparing, most of us tend to fall into one of these categories. So when we talk about profile building, it's essential to understand which category you fall into and then proceed further to improve your profile in that particular category. Because your preparation, your time required to improve your preparation, also improve your profile, depends on these factors and varies somewhat on these factors. So let's take a look at this. As you all can see, for a fresher or somebody who is currently during a gap year phase and solely preparing for exams, there is a high chance that you'll be having relatively higher amount of time as compared to that those of others who are preparing for the MBA entrance exam. Meanwhile, let me also emphasize that this time for preparation could in fact be capitalized to your advantage, and it should be capitalized to your advantage. You can utilize the time to improve your profile and resume further. We often get this question asked: do I have a lesser chance of getting into the top premier B school like SIBM Pune because I'm fresher or because I have a gap year? The answer to this is no, because I myself is a fresher, I'm a fresher, and I also have 1 year of gap. I do understand that aspirants who are freshers and also taking gap year often feel scared because if their profile is not good enough and they have this fear in their mind. However, being a fresher is not at all an advantage. In fact, at a premier B school like SIBM Pune, we have a healthy balance of freshers and experienced professionals. Similarly, having a gap is also not bad. But one more thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to justify the reason. You have to give a very good reason for the gap that you have. And what you did during the gap year also matters. Now, coming to those who are currently studying or who are currently working, we understand that your schedule might be relatively packed as compared to that of people who are having a gap year. So there might be lesser time to invest on the preparation and lesser time to invest in the profile building section too. So you might not be having enough of time or energy to develop your profile outside of the work or the academics that you're already doing. For all these categories, let me share a very good news. It is very much possible to enhance your profile and make it better than already it is. Based on your current category, there are some ways to build your profile. Sakshi would be enlightening you on the same. Over to you, Sakshi.
Hello, everyone. Let me share a few tips for you to keep in mind while building your profile. For freshers and those embarking on a gap year, remember that a significant aspect on which you will be judged by most B schools might be your past academics. Your academics may be good, not so great, or amazing, but the main aspect you would be judged on would be what you are making out of it right now. How much subject knowledge do you have? What is your understanding of various concepts? If your academics were not really great, what do you think were the reasons for the same? Which area in your previous course did you like the most and why? Are you still in touch with your subject? So ensure to have a strong hold on your subject knowledge. And yes, realistically speaking, it's quite possible that many of you may not have really enjoyed your undergraduation field or streams you took, but it's possible to cultivate knowledge. Join courses, watch YouTube videos, talk to friends, do what it takes to enhance your knowledge about at least the basics. Talking about courses, we would also recommend you to do courses related to your future career aspirations. For example, if you aspire to take MBA in HR, there are so many amazing courses on platforms like Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, and so on. If you are confused about which specialization to take, then there are generic management related courses as well. And not to mention, they are very good CV pointers. Internships can also add a lot of value to your profile. Not only do they add weightage to your CV, but they also help you to develop other skills like how to be a team player, how to manage time, how to cope with stress, etc. And the last pointer is for those who are on a gap year. Justify your gap. Your interviewer or evaluator would be curious to know the reason for the gap and what you did during the year. Your answers give a glimpse into the type of person you are, what you're bringing to the table, what you have to offer, your dreams and aspirations. For students and working professionals, on the other hand, you may not get enough time to enhance your profile outside of your current role. So we would suggest that you build proficiency in your current work or acads. Know the end-to-end functioning of your role, what you have been doing, and also your organization. An example that I can give you is from my own interview. I was asked the question, what are the chief services of your organization? Similarly, you would be expected to know about where you work or study. But apart from your job, you would also be expected to know the basics of your past academics. We get this question a lot. I studied mechanical engineering, but I'm working as a software engineer now. So I know the basics. So should I know the basics of my BTech? Yes, you do need to have a basic idea of that. So go through your old notes or PPT if you have any, or else you can even take a basic certification in it, or at least watch YouTube videos and brush up your foundation. Another suggestion that we have for those who are working is that try to observe your organization. See, you're going to enter into the world of business. So trying to analyze your own organization while you're working there can be quite helpful. For instance, I was aligned towards taking an MBA in HR. So I tried to understand what the HR professionals in my organization were doing. What were their functions? I even talked to a few of them. In fact, if you are able to manage time, take up initiatives that align with your career aspirations. I tried to take employee engagement activities, survey designing, etc. that help me understand the field a bit more. You can also try to engage in volunteering activities. Volunteering gives you the opportunity to connect with something that gives you a sense of meaning. There are many CSR activities in most companies and something you can try to join in. So by building your profile further, what are you actually doing? You are building your own personal brand. Now, what is your personal brand? Let's explore further. Your personal brand is your unique identity, your reputation, and the value you bring. Be authentic, differentiate yourself, and make it shine online. It's your key to standing out and making an impact. It is your USP. Having a personal brand, especially as you enter the world of management, is extremely crucial because everything else might fade away. Sometimes the market condition might be bad and placements may get affected. Sometimes the college brand may be dipping due to reasons outside one's control. But the one thing in your own control is your own branding. In the digital era, everyone can find everything about you online. Your career path, relationship status, your first grade teacher's name, even your cousin's blood type. That's how advanced technology is. So most probably, someone who is considering you for an admission or recruitment would already know a bit about you even before talking to you for the very first time. Make this count. Create an impression even before stepping into the interview room. Now, where do you put your own personal brand? It can be anywhere, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, blogs, anywhere for that matter. But the truth is that your personal brand is who you are. So it's essential to live your personal brand. Let's assume that you are putting on social media that you are a health conscious person. But every second day, you are out there eating cheeseburgers. Soon your brand will also fail. So while branding yourself, find your authentic self and project that. Let us do a simple exercise to tap into who you are. Take a few minutes of time and write down the name of an animal which represents you the most and why. So for example, I believe I'm like a rabbit because I'm quite bubbly and energetic, or a dolphin because I'm highly sociable. So now write down the name of the animal you would like to be. For example, you can say, I want to be a lion because it's quite powerful. Let us know in the comments. Okay, Neon King says he wants to be a lion. Panda, because very lazy. Okay. Koala, deer, bull, great. Or a cat. Okay, great. Now the first animal is your real self, who you are as a person right now. And the second animal is your ideal self, the type of person you would like to be. Now, when the gap between our real and ideal self is huge, it can be quite difficult. So find your real and ideal selves first and try to understand how you can bridge that gap. For example, if I want to be an honest person and want that to be my personal brand, but in reality, I am sometimes scared to show my vulnerable side, I should start working towards my goal. We have also shared another exercise to help you identify your personal values. Introspection plays a huge role here. Now, once you are clear about what your personal brand should look like, start putting it out there. It can be through social media or even just through your interactions with your own peers. Your brand needs to shine. This suggestion would also help you immensely during your interviews because many a times the evaluator wants to know your personality more than anything else. Since you are a B school aspirant, I would also suggest you work on your LinkedIn profile. It is a basic tool towards professional networking, and having a solid profile can do wonders. I myself didn't have a proper profile before MBA, but I worked on it. Similarly, try to build a good LinkedIn profile. How to make a good LinkedIn profile that stands out. This deserves a separate slide altogether. Let me welcome Arushi to take over.
Thank you, Sakshi. Now, when you see someone's LinkedIn profile, what are the few aspects you notice first? You can use the chat box. So Suman is saying bio, Neon King is saying education background and colleges. Yes, that's right. To build an attractive LinkedIn, there are so many factors. Here, we are going to highlight a few of them. Your profile photo. Your profile photo is easily the first thing people will notice about you. So make it the best representation of your professional self. Note the word professional self. This means it's best to showcase a look that is professional in nature. Try to avoid personal photos like a selfie, a party look, a group picture, etc. Your photo should look like you. So avoid putting a 12th standard picture because that will give a false impression when people actually see the real you. Have a bright smile. Look pleasant. Your picture should be welcoming. Try to represent your own personality. As you can see in my peer's profile photo, she has put a picture wearing a formal attire, a big smile, and she has subtly flaunted the red wall of SIBM Pune behind her. Your background photo or the banner, think of it as a pre-advertisement board. It's actually an advertisement board where you can showcase your personal brand with no additional cost. So utilize that space effectively. It can engage the audience significantly. Her background photo is the SIBM Pune class of 2025, which she's proudly representing. Your headline. Your headline can be anything. Usually, it showcases the current role that we are in. For instance, her headline reflects that she is an MBA student at SIBM Pune. But that is not a hard and fast rule. It can be anything that you like. It can showcase your past associations, your aspirations, and much more. Let's talk about your About section next. Your summary is like the cherry on top of your profile. Many people skip this part, but I would definitely recommend you to have one. It should be your story. The introspection method that we shared in the last section can come to use in this because you need to make this slide align to your values. Freshers often have this doubt. What do I put in my headline and in the About section? Remember that this profile is not just about your career. It's about who you are. You can share your journey so far. What are you doing outside of your professional life? And what are your career goals? Talking about educational and work experience details, of course, your educational details, internship, work ex should all be included. If you have completed any certifications, attended any courses, that too can be added. In fact, even adding your location, industry increases your audience. And last but not the least, you have to engage with your network. Like the posts, repost them if they need, add interesting comments, add your own posts with consistency, highlight your wins and flaunt your personal brand. These are a very few important pointers that you can keep in mind while updating your LinkedIn. Apart from your LinkedIn, what is one professional document that you have to carry with you for the rest of your lives? Aspirants, please use the chat box and be interactive. So Anita says resume. Yes, that's right. Even more important than your birth certificate at this point of time, your CV is going to be your must have for the rest of your life. So let's try to understand how to build an effective CV that catches the eyes of the recruiter or the evaluator. An effective resume entails the following sections. It entails your educational details, professional experience, internships, projects undertaken, position of responsibility, achievements, may it be academic or extracurricular achievements, and other information such as your languages known, hobbies and interests, and technical skills. These gives the evaluator certain talking points. While creating your resume, keep in mind a few pointers. Keep it crisp, simple, to the point. Keep your resume. It should be easy to read and understand. Each sentence should not exceed a line. Try to restrict your resume to a page. One thing to keep in mind is that your evaluator is also a human being with limited energy and time. As it is, they would have to read so many resumes that by the time they saw yours, they don't need an entire book or pamphlet. So keep the sentences one line long and don't let your resume overflow more than a page. The pointers need to be in reverse chronological order. This means that your latest information should come first. Let's say you've worked in two companies in 2022 and 2018. Put the latest company of 2022 first in the resume. Similarly for ACADS, keep your latest degree first. Add recent information that is relevant. Because no one needs to know that you are a class monitor in your second grade. Your resume needs to reflect recent and relevant information. And it's always best if the information is within 4 to 5 years. However, if needed, you can try out new things to put on your resume as well. For instance, doing a course, volunteering, etc. Resume words are power words. These words introduce accomplishments in your resume and cover letter. They are usually verbs, but they can also be adjectives. For example, if we take up a sentence, designed and developed mobile application that reduced paper use. You bolden the power words such as designed and developed and make it pop out. Since these words are going to be used extensively, try to avoid repetitions. You also have to bring in data. Let's look at the previous example. Designed and developed mobile application that reduced paper use. Now, instead of this, let's try saying designed and developed mobile applications that reduced paper use by 40%. Can you see the difference? It adds a lot of weight and is instantly more attractive. Try to back up your claims with data and numbers and make sure that you highlight it. Your photograph always needs to be informal. In your resume, you may or may not choose to add a photo. This is up to you completely. But if you're adding a photograph, keep it a formal picture and a recent one. Apart from that, you should also be well versed with your resume. Your resume should only contain information which you can easily justify. Even if your evaluator asks a question, how did you reduce paper usage by 40%? How did you calculate it? You should be able to answer it. Avoid putting any data which you can't explain. For example, let's say you have taken a certification a couple of years ago, but you've completely forgotten about the content. One suggestion would be to either relearn the concepts or not put it at all. We also get that for freshers, you won't have a section on work experience, and that creates a vacuum in your resume. So it becomes essential that you fill other sections to compensate. As we discussed before, find courses, follow your passions, take certifications, and for that, you can start right now itself. Because after Snap, you will have a GE and PI, and this can enhance your profile significantly. For starters, you can take certifications in Excel and PowerPoint. Trust us, it's going to be useful anywhere you go and even in your jobs. Now, apart from your resume, there are certain significant questions that you would be asked in B-school interviews, job interviews, and even in life. Rohan will be taking you over the 3 major questions.
Hello, folks. Glad to be back. So let me talk about the 3 major questions that you would be asked in most of the business school interviews or even in your internship or office interviews. So the first question that would pop out will be why MBA? This question is always there, followed by which specialization are you aligned to and why do you want to do it? And the third question would be after you have graduated, why are you shifting your career to MBA? So these are the 3 questions that you should be prepared to answer. And the answer should be convincing. You can be honest, but try to put yourself in the shoes of your evaluator and see how the evaluator would perceive your answer. Today, we will be leaving you with these three questions as food for thought. Try to answer these questions if you want, write them down or note the answers digitally. Trust me, these three questions will add a lot of value. The second question about your specialization, it's possible that you may still feel confused. The answer can also be generic, something like I believe it's essential to choose a specialization that aligns with my interest, strengths, and long term career goals. I'm open to learning more about the different options and how they can complement my aspirations. This way, I can make a well informed decision that's the best fit for me and my future. This brings us to the end of today's session. But before we open the floor for questions, let me ask you one question. How many of you have attempted Snapitude? It's live on Unstop. It has been live since a couple of days, and the registration would be ending on the 20th. Are you aware of Snapitude? Have you attempted it yet? You can type in the chat box. Okay, Susan says she did. Anita did. Okay. Okay. Purvaj gave it today. Okay, okay. Many of you have given. I can see that many of you have attempted, and some of you may not have. We would recommend you to not wait until the last minute, but give it a go as soon as possible. After all, the deadline is approaching. Let me tell you how to register for Snapitude for those of you who have not. This is just a QR code away. So you have to go to Unstop, search for Snapitude, and you will see us there. If you don't want to go to Unstop, you can rather scan our QR code and it will redirect you to our Unstop page from where you can just create an account and register for the Snapitude test. And the top 10 winners are going to get one extra snap attempt absolutely free of cost. If you have already paid for all three attempts, you will get your money refunded, no issues. The top 10 would also get a free subscription to the Hindustan Times premium yearly subscription, where you'll get access to high quality news and insightful content throughout the year. That will actually be really helpful while preparing for your MBA interviews, since you need to be aware of what are the current affairs going on in the country as well as around you in your city. And the best part is yet to come. The winners get to have a Snapchat with our second year students, basically our seniors, which is essentially a one-on-one coaching session on how to approach your preparation and address all of your doubts. We would also pair you up with a study buddy who will be one of us from the aspirant relations team. It could be me as well. So yeah, we will be your support system in this journey towards snacking Snap. Just scan the QR code and reach our Snapitude page. Amazing opportunities await you if you crack Snapitude, and Nexus is always there for you. Uh, this would also help you before the official Snap mock. Actually, it would give you an actual glimpse of how Snap could be and what kind of level of difficulty questions are there, how to approach them, how to manage time. You will learn all of that through our official Snap mock. Remember, folks, the deadline for Snapitude is 20th of October. That is day after tomorrow. So there is not much of time left. I would not suggest that you wait for the last date and register. I would insist you to do it now. So register and give your attempt right away. And yes, as we mentioned yesterday, Coffee with SIBM is next in line, and we would like to know your preferences. So in Coffee with SIBM, we visit various cities and conduct our event over there, helping you, guiding you with all your preparation journey. We go in detail with all the different sections that are there. So where would you like us to visit this year? What cities do you live in? What cities do you want us to come and host the session there? So I would request everyone to just take out a minute and scan the QR code to fill the form where you would like the aspirant relations team from SIBM Pune to visit. I will give you all 1 minute to fill out your suggestions, post which we can move for the Q&A session. All right. So let me open the floor for questions. Aspirants, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat box. We'll be more than happy to answer each and every question.
Also, aspirants, I request you to ask questions related to profile building today. We would like to answer all the generic questions regarding the preparations also. But today it would be great if you could ask us questions regarding the profile building sections particularly. Thank you, Susan, for the appreciation. We request you to kindly follow our social media pages. You'll get to know about the sessions that we are hosting.
So I see a question about do part-time internships count? So while they won't add points to your profile for selection, I would always say that you should do your internships because you have great pointers to talk about in your interview. Since with those internships, you actually gain valuable insights as to how the industry functions, what domain you have done it in, and you get a holistic knowledge of how that industry functions. So I definitely think that doing internships, doing certifications, and even part-time internships would count as an add-on to your interview experience.
Yes, also adding to Rohan's point, I totally agree with what he said. Also, to clear your confusion regarding marketing and HR, I think doing internships or doing courses would give you an insight about how that particular domain is, how marketing works, what you are expected out to do when you choose marketing and sales as your specialization, and what you are expected to do when you choose HR as your specialization. So I think doing internships would help you to understand that how particular industry work. Also talking about courses, I think you should not restrict yourself to do courses into one particular specialization. Right now at this stage, I would insist you to do courses which are very generic, which could be applicable to any sort of MBA. That would be really helpful for you.
So I see a question about what kind of internships to do if you're focusing on MBA marketing. So for me, I had not planned to go for a marketing or any other specialization per se. But then I found myself doing an internship at one of the startups where our role was to reach out to different institutes, different coaching classes, and convince them to tie up for a mock test that we were conducting, that my edtech startup was conducting. And that actually was free of cost. But still, the tie up was very difficult to do with them, even if you are offering a value, a service for free. So that actually intrigued me, and that's how marketing works. You need to make others aware of your product. You need to form a hype about your product in the market, and it should always add value. So look for something which will always make you gain insights about how the society functions and what the society actually means. So I think that's where you could align your internship towards, where you have to achieve a target or something like that.
Okay, so how Rohan mentioned about his journey, I would like to mention about my journey because I've also chosen marketing and sales as one of my specialization. Sorry, as the only specialization. So when I started initially, I was doing my engineering in mechanical engineering domain. That's where I realized that I was a marketing head of one particular event, one particular fest in my college. I realized that, oh, this is something which really interests me. This is something which I would like to explore and get a gist of it more. So that's where I decided, okay, to understand this domain, this particular domain more, I should do 2 or 3 internships. So that's where I decided to do internships. So I did 2 internships specifically, one in sales, one in marketing. So the sales internship was similar to that of what Rohan did, about the courses, about it was basically aligned to educational background. But the marketing one that I did was very interesting. It was about celebrity acquisition, and it was about reaching to celebrities and enhancing the bandwidth of the particular platform that I was working for. And it was basically a startup based in Bangalore. So I was online associated with them, but it was a very interesting journey. I would like to suggest you that if you think of doing like you're pursuing your specialization in marketing, you should explore the areas, the different areas in marketing specialization as such, and get a zest of it, so that you would be able to understand, oh, is it something that I really want to do, or is it something that I don't want to do? So I would suggest you in that way.
So there is a question if all these courses need to be related to MBA only, or if they can be related to UG. So not necessarily. It can be either. If these courses are related to your undergraduation, it will also add value to your CV, because it points that you have very good subject knowledge in what you have done in your bachelor's. Apart from that, if these courses are related to MBA, it will also help you for your future career aspirations, because it will be aligned with that. So it is better to have both, but you have to choose. If your subject knowledge is already good enough, you can go for MBA related courses. And if you want to still build up your knowledge, and you can do both.
I can see one more question about extracurricular activities. So yes, extracurricular activities do hold a majority of importance in your profile building. It's something which defines you as a person, whether it's dancing, whether it's doing internship, whether it's doing courses, whether it's having passion for certain hobbies or an interest, or achieving something in some sports or in some other activities. I think that is what defines you as a person, defines your values, your ethics, your fit for a particular organization or a particular B school. So yes, extracurricular activity do matters, and if you have done them, then it's really great. If you have not done them, I would like to insist you to start doing them. If you are currently studying, if you have a gap year, I would like to recommend you to do something which would really add a value to your profile, like working for some time in a startup. If that's not a full-time working, just helping them in the ideation process, or maybe improve, if you are interested in marketing, going and helping build a marketing strategy for a startup or a particular business. Even if it's your friend's business or your family business, then that works. But investing your thought and your process in some or the other kind of activity is very important, which can be showcased in your resume.
So adding on to the extracurricular activities, I would say definitely that's yes, yes, and a win-win situation for your resume. That's because I have a background where I love writing poems. I have completed writing a poetry book, and it's in the verge of publications. I do stand-up comedies, and it actually gives a lot of context for you to speak in your interview. And when you're speaking about such dynamic points in your interview, it actually interests the interviewer even more, since you are making a difference. You are not following the generic point of view that all of the other aspirants follow. You should always have something different that sets you apart from the general folk. So that is one added advantage that I always found about doing extracurricular activities.
One more question I can see. It's about making out the best of an internship. So I think it's about, if it's an online one, then I think it's majorly about communicating about your work to your boss or to your peers. I think you need to understand that how the work culture is going to be in that particular internship. You need to communicate with your boss about your work. You need to get the clarity of what kind of work is expected out of you. You need to understand how your peers are working in the online mode. So that is all what which is important. And if you are working in the offline mode, I think um again, it's about building the bond, building the relationships. So making the best out of any opportunity, I think it's about building bonds, building those kind of relationships, getting to know people, working in a team dynamics. That is what is going to help you in your future.
So I would like to take on making the best out of an internship opportunity. Let me tell you, in my second year of undergraduation, I got an opportunity to intern with Ernst and Young, and it was an unpaid internship. So while I arrived, I approached my superior and asked them what work do I have to do. It was not much of work based, and us interns were usually free. But what I found out during that opportunity is that though the work was so technical that we could not understand it at that moment, and coming from a BCom background, working in the automation sector in tax domain, I could not understand that. So how I maximized my experience was that I set a goal that every day I had to go and interact with two new people. I have to build my network, and that's how I completed my 2 month internship. And while I was ending my internship, I landed up with so many valuable networks that even if I contact them now, they will always be ready. They will always be there for me, there to help me. So that is somewhere I maximize my internship experience.
Okay, I can see a question about how to justify my specialization, where when I myself is a bit confused about it and I don't have any courses or certification to back it. Okay, so one very interesting recommendation that I would like to give. So there are two type of people. One who are very clear about the specialization. So for them, the recommendation is to you that you have to do majority of your internships in the in the specialization that you are interested in, and the courses you have to do in a very generic courses that would add on to your knowledge about the other specializations also. Talking about Papia's case, I think you can do generic internships that would give you a holistic approach of how an organization works, how a team works, how a particular kind of work is to be done, so that you get an clear understanding about how each specialization is work, how an HR professional work, how a marketing professional work. So if you are able to get an idea about how each specialization is working, whether it's operations, finance, so then you will be able to make a guess, or maybe you will be able to judge, oh, this one is something which is of my interest. When you see all the specialization from a bird's eye point of view, you will be able to understand, oh, this is something which really interests me. Okay, this is something which I really want to do. So maybe from there you will be able to understand, oh, this is something which I really want to do, when you will be doing some generic internships and generic courses. And if you start doing it from now, then that would be helpful for you till the point in when actual the PI process starts for B schools admissions. So that's all our recommendation is, like, you have to start your profile building from now onwards. Invest some part of your time in building your profile by talking to professionals, by getting involved in certain activities wherein you are able to gauge which specializations you would like to do, you would like to choose, or you would like to work in. So that's our recommendation.
Hello, aspirants. So I see question, why most MBA colleges have majority engineers? I would like to highlight that here at SIBM Pune, we maintain a very diverse set of students. People are here from all fields of education. If you refer to our placement reports, summer internship and final internships, you will be able to find that there is a healthy balance. People are here from literature, from commerce background, from engineering, even architecture like myself. So here at SIBM Pune, everyone gets a chance.
So there is a question. I have joined a company in September and I'm planning to continue it as long as possible before joining a B school. Would that 5-6 months of WorkX help? So definitely any amount of WorkX will help you. Even if it is an internship, it will help you a lot. First point being, it gives you a lot to talk about in your interview. Second, it can add a lot of value to your profile. And not only is it adding weightage to it, you can develop many more skills, like how to become a team player, how to work independently, how to manage your time, or if there is stress, how to manage stress. So there are many skills that you develop both professionally and personally. So any amount of work experience is going to help you.
So I see a question about a person who's worked in an NGO. So yes, you need to submit the relevant document during your GEPI process. That is all mandatory, and you'll get to know about the process in detail further. Okay, so very interactive session this was. Thank you again, aspirants, for making the very first edition of Nexus a very big success. Thank you so much. We are so grateful for the all positive comments, the positive feedback that you all are making during our sessions. You're making the sessions very engaging and interactive one. Thank you for that once again. Feel free to reach out to us anytime through our social media pages. And once again, reminding you all that Snaptitude deadline is approaching. So please give your mock test as soon as possible. Looking forward to see all of you at Coffee with SIBM. But our social media pages would always be buzzing with our mock Mondays, insightful posts, important updates, and so much more. Thank you.
Thank you, aspirants, for this amazing session. We hope to see a lot of you in the next batch as our juniors. Thank you for the amazing event.
Thank you everyone for being so interactive.